Can I ask you to tell the story of how, because it's very relevant to this conversation, how Good Times led to the Jeffersons, or how we got from Good Times to the Jeffersons?
Well, there are many ways,
Yes. Well, the visit you received.
But what I think you're referring to is we were doing Good Times was on the air a year and a half, 2 years before the Jeffersons, and it was extremely well received by the African American community. But maybe a year or so into it, the black press started questioning why the one show on television with a black cast, the guy had to work 2 or 3 jobs. Why wasn't there are people in America who are colored who are doing better? Why? Anyway, they raised that question by way of complaint about Good Times, and while that was going on Maude, we had next door to, on All in the Family, next door to Archie Bunker, the Jeffersons had moved in. That gave us the thought to move on up, to do the Jeffersons as a family who were doing far better. And that's how the Jeffersons, is that the story you want?
That was
yeah.
the story. Yeah.
That's how the Jeffersons came to be.
And there is a recent addition to that story, the Russell Simmons conversation you had on stage during the hip-hop event, when Russell Simmons was talking about how important the Jeffersons was to him.
Russell Simmons. There was a the evening was entitled "What Do a 92-Year-Old Jew and the World of Hip Hop Have in Common?" And Russell Simmons was one of a number of participants, on the panel. And he told about being 9 or 10 years old when he saw George Jefferson write a check. And as a kid, he thought, wait a minute. He never knew a black man could write a check. He never saw anything like that, and it affected him enormously. I mean, it's a long way of saying we, each of us in our lives, impact each other. And you never know the impact any one of you is having on one individual. And then I'm fond of thinking, given the size and scope of the Creator's enterprise here, this being a planet among 1 billion, in a universe of which they say there are 1 billion, can you get your fingers close enough to compare the impact of any little thing you may do to make somebody else have a better day, and what Jonas Salk contributed, or Norman Lear, or anybody? We all matter.